You need to watch this video right here before November 1st. Take a look at the charts. Do you see the candle we're in right now? We are currently at resistance from this yellow line. In the past 11 years, since all the way back in 2013, this yellow line has played a critical role with every major move that Bitcoin has ever had in the past 11 years. But things are heating up, and this month's candle is incredibly important. We need to talk about the close of this candle and what it needs to do to regain control. Let's get into it. Hi, I'm Steve. I quit my job over 13 years ago, been traveling the world since, thanks to my trading and investing skills. Join me for sponsorship-free TA with genuine value that actually works. Subscribe. Here we are on the Bitcoin US dollar index, and today we're on the monthly chart. On the monthly chart, we have 11 years of price action, and every single important move intertwines inside of this yellow line. This yellow line is called a trend line. And once again, to draw a trend line on your chart, you just need to connect 3 critical touch points. Luckily for us, we have far more than 3. In fact, we have the market cycle top here prior to its next swing high. We have the bottom of the market right before that happened in 2014. We have the breakout of 2017, which led to the market cycle top. After the market cycle top, we crashed horrifically right down to where? Right down to our yellow line in 2019. Then we had a magnificent rise up here to 14K, where we called a gravestone doji candle, which printed on the weekly scale. We said a big crash was coming, and boy did it ever. We crashed down. Most people blame it on COVID. This was what people call the COVID crash, but we crashed to where? Exactly this trend line. And they're like, oh my God, how did this trend line predict COVID? The news belongs in the garbage. Men lie, women lie, the charts don't lie. This has had accurately predicted some of the biggest moves and most important moves in Bitcoin's history, regardless of what the news said. Throughout these 11 years, we've had probably several million news events, but every time we come down to this yellow line. That's a fact. Then after the COVID crash, we went on a magnificent rise. Go figure. We held support at this yellow line with a huge line of momentum here, right? Anytime you see a wick to the downside, it's momentum to the upside. And then we shot up to 70K. We had a double top. Oh my God, double top is a trend reversal. We crashed down to where? We crashed down to the yellow line. Then we started holding it as support. Then we got rejected in April of 2023 in the middle of the bull. Then we moved sideways because we were in phase 1. Then we went into phase 2 and we got rejected again at this yellow line. Then we moved into phase 3. We finally got above, but it was short-lived. Then we crashed down below this line in middle of phase 3, which we are in right now. We spent half of phase 3 as support and half of phase 3 as resistance, and things are heating up. Bitcoin is potentially getting ready to make one of its biggest moves in 200 days, and it really boils down to this yellow line. Right now, this yellow line is currently having resistance inside of this month. No matter where Bitcoin is when you watch this video, you need to watch one price and one price only. That's right above our heads as resistance. Once again, in the middle of the month, we could wick through here. It's irrelevant. It's more important on November 1st, where did we close the month? In the middle of the month, we could be up, we could be down, we could be up. It doesn't matter. It's all noise. The close is everything. Tilt your phone to the side and subscribe. By the way, at the end of the video, I have one of the most powerful lessons that completely changed my life. And right now, as we speak above our heads, if the body of the monthly close closes below 72K, we're at resistance, plain and simple. Now keep in mind, Bitcoin needs to get above 71, 72 to take out that swing high of July, right? Going back to the weekly chart that I showed you earlier, it has to take out this swing high in July. If it were to do that, it would have to have this monthly close above 72, and then it would take out 2 birds with 1 stone, being remarkably bullish at the same time. right? That would be the ideal bullish scenario. Now, let's be honest. If Bitcoin doesn't have the body close above 72 and we have the body as resistance at 72, then we would have had not one, not two, but 3 consecutive months as resistance, something that we've seen before in multiple occasions. We've had multiple months as resistance here prior to a breakout. We had a few years as resistance here between 2014 and 2017. And we most recently had quite a while, multiple years of resistance from 2022 up until 2024, right? So again, phase 3 is what we're in right now. Phase 3 has the prior swing high of the all-time high as a resistance zone, and it needs to take out that prior swing high resistance zone and confirm as support. What you can also see is the bodies of these candles have a distinct zone, right? If you look at this zone, you're talking about 61K. In other words, we need all of the bodies of our candles to close above 61K, preferably above 72. Why, you may ask? Well, you have wicks to the upside, which is momentum to the downside, in our first top and our double top. In order to really build structure on top of here, which would be really bullish, is to have all of the bodies confirm above 61. Now, if you go to our candles now, we've had half the candles in phase 3 have support at this yellow line, and the other half so far as resistance. But let's look at that 61 line. We're talking about right around here. In other words, we've had 2 candles that are trouble to the 61. We had this candle here and this candle here. Both of them look solid. Here's why. You see this long wick to the downside here? The candle before that and the candle after that were mirror images. In other words, we had our cycle high of 74, and then we had some issues and we started crashing. But you see this kind of curvature that Bitcoin is trying to form. It's sort of cradled and came down like a rocket ship, like Elon's rocket coming back to land slowly and steadily. That's what these long wicks represent, is a lot of buying, right? In other words, we had a 74 high, we came down into like a nice soft landing, and we want to see some curvature over the next couple months come and battle this yellow line. That's essentially what we want to see Bitcoin do. And the good news for us is we've had 3 consecutive months of these wicks to the downside representing momentum to the upside, which is why we're starting to see some very, very early signs of this curvature forming. You want to see that continue. You want to see us continue to battle into the higher 60s and potentially the mid 70s, right? And it all comes down to the end of the month. In the middle of the month, it's irrelevant what the price is, right? It's completely irrelevant. Even if we shot up to like 77, it's irrelevant. It only matters where we close. That's it. If we shoot up to 77 and before the month close, it sells off hard and we close the month at 63, we're in deep you know what, because then we have a huge wick to the upside, which means huge momentum to the downside. It's irrelevant where Bitcoin does in between. So what I want you to do is take a deep breath. Stop listening to all the news in crypto and stop listening to anybody who's following the daily movements of Bitcoin. Oh my God, we're up $4. We're down set. Who cares? Take that, throw it in the garbage. That mindset will get you nowhere. Nobody who is successful in crypto focuses on the day-to-day. It's just not relevant at all. You make tiny little moves inside of the day-to-day action. It takes the same amount of time to make a $1,000 trade as it takes to make a $1 million trade. It's the same amount of time, it's the same amount of energy, and it's the same amount of effort. Where do you want to focus your time? On the little trades or the big boy, big girl trades? It becomes very clear, right? So this is what we're seeing in Bitcoin right now as we speak. Here's the interesting thing. That's this month. Next month, this trend line is rising, and it's rising fast. Next month, we've got resistance way above our heads. Let's take a look at the next handful of months so you can get an idea of where this thing is moving, and potentially we can hopefully hold this as support. Next month, we're looking at resistance at 75.7K. Next month is in November. December, Christmas time, we've got resistance above our head at 79K. A very important number to the 5.3 theory, which we're going to be covering here in some time. But again, we made the 5.3 theory several years ago, and several years ago, it projected the Bitcoin top at less than a 100K. Most people thought there was no chance we would ever be below 100K in the middle of the bull. Here we are 2 years into the bull run. We haven't even gotten close to 100K. So the 5.3 theory has been on point to a T so far. But once again, once you get past into January, we're looking at 82.7K, and then you get into the February-ish range where we're at 86.8, and then you get into the March area, which could be a very, very important month for Bitcoin, and we have a 90K area as resistance. Tilt your phone to the side and subscribe. Now, I wanted to get to that lesson I shared with you. Earlier in the video, I said towards the end of the video, I wanted to share that one lesson that completely changed my life. And it started here. When I was born to two teenage parents. Both of my parents dropped out of high school. They moved out of their family's house, and we lived in this little shack. We lived in a rich town, but we lived on the poorest street in the town. Everybody looked down on us. I came from teenage parents. Both my parents dropped out of high school. They expected more of the same. So I went through life with all of the rich people looking down on me. Everybody doubted me. Then I went to school. Everyone looked down on me because they knew my parents. It's a small town, and it's very rare you have anybody be a teenage parent. And it's very, very rare in a rich town you have two of the parents drop out of high school. So I had all odds against me, right? And growing up, you could feel it. You could feel it from every angle. Wherever we went, everyone knew who we were, and they always looked down on me. I always had this burning belief inside of me. The whole world was telling me I was going to be a failure, just like the rest of the lineage of my family, but I had other plans. I had this burning belief inside of my belly that I was going to be successful. Not a little bit successful, not really successful, that I was going to dominate. I was certain of it. I could feel it. I could see it. There was just something in me that knew it was going to happen. And when I reached into the teenage years, I would start to tell some people about this, and it was received with laughs. But I didn't care. It was almost like, how could they not see it? I just continued my journey. I continued my path. I've been able to do exactly what I wanted in this world. I told everybody that I was going to travel the world. I've been to more than 70 countries. I told everybody that I was going to be my own boss. I've been my own boss for the past 12 years. I left a high-paying job in America that I got out of college, and I left that saying, I'm going to go travel the world and I'm going to be my own boss. That was 12 years ago. Since that day, I've been my own boss, and since that day, I've been to 70 countries. I think it's safe to say that we've tackled those goals. And it all comes back to the belief that I had in myself. When everyone around me was doubting me, that doesn't matter. What most people wait for is everyone around you, friends, family, whoever in school, to believe in them, and then they feel they can do something. That's not how this world works. You could literally have your entire family believe in you more than anything. You could literally have all of your friends believe in you more than anything. But if you don't believe in yourself, you'll never achieve anything. The only thing that matters is your belief cold-heartedly, unequivocally, that you're going to dominate. If you truly believe that, you will dominate. But most people need to change their mindset, because it's like, well, maybe I'll be successful, or I hope I'll be successful. Those people will never be successful. I hate to ruin your dreams, but it'll never happen. It has to be unequivocally, undeniably, I'm going to dominate. It's a belief that is a burning feeling in your belly. And when you think about it, you're like, oh my God, I can just feel it overtake my whole body. And there's no other outcome than domination. I need you to change your mindset to just a domination mindset, that it doesn't matter if every single human you know laughs at you and says there's no way in hell. The only thing that matters is if you believe it. Mark my words, start doing affirmations, say it in the mirror, write it down, read it in the morning, read it at night, say it out loud, and it will happen. Mark my words. I'm just a kid that was born to teenage parents, on welfare, struggling, everyone doubting me my whole life. The only reason I'm here is I believed I would be here. Hit that subscribe button. I'll see you right back here in the next video. Watch this chart like a hawk at the monthly close. This bull run is our road to 500,000 subscribers, but I need your help. Today, tell one person about our YouTube channel, how we spit facts, go against the herd, take no paid sponsorships of any kind. Road to 500,000, let's go.